They fired the maid for touching the diamond necklace, then it vanished, and she named the thief in Swahili. At 6 in the morning, the sky over Dar es Salaam was just beginning to lighten, the sea breeze rang a salty tang through the tall iron gates of the Patel residence, rustling the Indian silk tapestry in the living room. Amina knelt on the cold marble floor, her hands submerged in the lukewarm cleaning water, an old rag twisting between her fingers. Her head was bowed, strands of hair stuck to her temples with sweat. This was her third year working as a maid for the Patels. Every day, she woke at 5:30 a.m. to clean 3 floors of the mansion, prepare breakfast, wash laundry, until late at night, when she could finally retreat to the tiny, windowless room in the back, the relay tennis QUA meters. She moved silently, like a shadow, through the mansion worth billions of shillings. The crystal chandelier in the living room caught the morning light, scattering prisms across the walls. The coffee table still bore traces of last night's paruti, empty glasses, half-eaten nuts, and realistically draped over the armrest of the sofa, the legendary TRS of the sea necklace, a piece so coveted by the city's elite that it was usually locked in the safe. Amina reached to clear the table when a glint of blue caught her eye. She bent down, fingers brushing against something cold and metallic. The necklace slipped beneath the table. Her breath hitched. This was Mrs. Patel's most prized possession, a family heirloom brought from Mumbai, rumored to be worth over $2 million Rs. She picked it up ruefully, the weight of the diamonds heavy in her palm, the blue stone shimmering like a drop of frozen ocean. She turned toward the safe. "What are you doing?" Amina jerked upright. Mrs. Patel, Samira Patel, stood at the top of the stairs, her silk robe fluttering, face twisted in fury. She stormed down, snatched the necklace from Amina's hand, and flung it onto the sofa as if it were a venomous snake. "You to retouch it with those black hands of yours, my TRS of the sea, defiled. Unclean." Amina dropped to her knees, hands pressed together. "Madam, I only picked it up, it was on the floor, I wanted to return it." Silence. Samira's voice was shrill, trembling. "Do you know this necklace is only to be touched by me? Anything you've touched must be burned." Amina froze. She'd heard of the Patels' obsession with purity. Their strict Hindu beliefs dictated that outsiders, especially those of lower caste or foreign blood, contaminated what they touched. But in 3 years of service, she had never been humiliated like this. "Madam, I only wanted to help," Samira sneered. "You can't even keep your own hands clean, and you think you can touch my jewels, Ralph? Get the manager." Within moments, Ralph, the mixed-race butler with a permanent professional smile, arrived. After listening to Samira's tirade, he turned to Amina, expressionless. "You're dismissed. Pack your things and leave the servants' quarters by 3 p.m. Your wages will be paid, but no reference letter." Amina felt like she'd been struck by lightning. "Fired for picking up a necklace. You violated household rules by touching the madam's personal belongings," Ralph said coldly. "Gather your things." She wanted to argue, but Samira had already turned on her heel, her stilettos clicking against the marble like a judge's gavel. Amina stumbled back to her room. The space was tiny, just a bed, a wooden cabinet, a kerosene lamp, and a photo of Makan with carvings sent by her mother. She sat on the edge of the bed, fingers digging into the frayed sheet. She couldn't lose this job. Her mother sold wood carvings in their inland village, her younger brother was still in school. Her wages fed them all. She remembered arriving in Dar 3 years ago, her father dead in a mining accident, the family drowning in debt. She'd followed a neighbor to the city, and through connections, landed this job. At first, she was terrified of making mistakes. She rented to CK with Indian spices, memorized that the Patels didn't eat onions, knew that Madam needed her silk wrists ironed every Wednesday. She never complained, never spoke out of turn, even worked extra hours just for a few more shillings. And today she'd done the right thing, picked up something valuable to prevent it from being lost. And in return she was called unclean. A knock at the door. Her neighbor, Mama Maid, a Swahili woman in her 50s who sold coconuts at the market, peeked in. One look at Amina's face, and she knew. They fired me, Amina whispered. Because I touched the necklace. Mama Maid sucked in a sharp breath. That necklace. But you weren't stealing, you were picking it up. Madam said my hands are unclean. Mama Maid's eyes darkened. That old nonsense. These Indians always think they're pure, and the rest of us are dirt. She stepped inside, pulling a worn booklet from her pocket and pressing it into Amina's hands. Take this. My daughter used to read it. Some of these Swahili proverbs. They're stronger than the law. Amina flipped through the yellowed pages. One handwritten line stood out: Alapasama Kachaka, Hakachaguliwi Kungoja. When the storm comes, the wise don't wait to be chosen, they act. She looked up, but Mama Maid was already leaving, her final words lingering: Don't accept this, child. The truth doesn't walk on its own. By 2 p.m., Amina was packing when shouts erupted from the front road. She crept to the courtyard wall, peering through the vines. Samira stood surrounded by bodyguards and 2 police officers, her face pale. Pointing frantically at the safe. Gone, what's gone? Amina's pulse spiked. Then she heard it, the TRS of the sea. It was here last night. Now it's missing. It must be that Maid, the one we just fired. She touched it this morning. The officers scribbled notes. Amina Mwaka Makan tribe residents, servants qua routers. Amina's blood turned to ice. She'd just been thrown out, and now the necklace was stolen. Too convenient. She remembered she'd picked it up, and Samira had snatched it from her, thrown it onto the sofa. So who had touched it after? Her gaze dropped to the proverb book. Alapasama Kachaka. The storm was here. And she couldn't wait. Then, movement. From the corner of her eye, she spotted Raj, the Patel's 10-year-old son, peeking through the curtains of the upstairs nursery. In his hands, something blue, something glittering. The TRS of the sea. Amina's breath caught. Raj noticed her watching and yanked the curtains. Shut. Her heart hammered. The necklace wasn't stolen. Raj had taken it, but why hide it? The police were getting closer. Amina shoved the book into her pocket, grabbed her bag, and slipped out the back gate. She couldn't be arrested. She had to live, she had to find the truth. As she stepped beyond the Patel gates, the DAR sun burned down, rsh and bright. She glanced back at the gilded mansion and whispered in Swahili, Naito Kapotangia, Naito Jifunza Kwanakana. When I am lost, I will lead RN to sea. The storm had come. And she was no longer just a maid who bowed her head and scrubbed floors. The heat in Dar es Salaam was brutal, waves of it rising off the asphalt, distorting the air. Amina walked the dirt road Tawa Rd Matumba slum, her old canvas bag slung over her shoulder. She'd just settled into a tiny room at a cheap hostel. Mama Maid was doing 20,000 shillings a month, no electricity, but at least it had a roof. She sat on the low wall outside, clutching a second-hand phone. The screen showed a news alert: Indian TYCNS heirloom diamond necklace stolen, fired mate suspected. The article featured an aerial shot of the Patel mansion and a blurry CCTV still of Amina's back. Police confirm a Tanzanian maid, recently dismissed, is the prime suspect in the theft of the priceless TRS of the sea necklace. The suspect has fled, and a manhunt is underway. Amina's fingers trembled. She hadn't stolen anything. She hadn't even touched the safe. But the news made it sound like fact. She scrolled to the comments, each one a knife to the gut. Never trust blacks. Give them an inch, they take a mile. Fired for touching it, then it goes missing. Who else could it be? Indians invest here, build factories, and this is how locals repay them. She shut off the phone, sta ring at the hazy sky. The city's skyscrapers shimmered in the heat, like a mirage. 3 years ago, she'd arrived here full of hope. Now she was a wanted thief. At dusk, Mama Emeirla found her, carrying a basket of cassava, coconuts, and tea. Stop looking at your phone, Emeirla muttered, sitting beside her. The whole city's talking. Police went to your village, asked your mother if you'd sent her jewelry. Amina gasped. They harassed my mother, threatened her with jail for hiding stolen goods. Emeirla sighed. You're in trouble. The Patels have politicians in their pockets. If they want you blamed, it's done. But I didn't take it. Amina's voice cracked. When I left, it was still on the sofa. No one believes you. Emeirla met her eyes. To them, a fired maid is the perfect suspect. Especially one who defiled it. Amina went silent. That unclean insult wasn't just cruelty, it was motive. A humiliated maid seeking revenge, a story everyone would buy. What about Raj? Amina remembered the boy hiding behind. Curtains. I saw him holding something like the necklace. Emeirla frowned. Raj, the kid who hides in his room listening to African drums. He's 10, what could he do? But why hide? And Madam said the necklace was stolen from the safe, but I saw her throw it on the sofa. The safe was never opened. Emeirla's eyes sharpened. So it never went back in. Then where did it go? I don't know, but Raj does. Emeirla pulled an old radio from her basket. Police scanners sometimes leak info. We'll listen. Night fell over Matumba. Amina and Emeirla huddled in the hostel, the radio crackling. Then, a clipped transmission. Suspect confirmed, Amina Mwaka, Makand, 25, 1.6 m tall, last seen in Matumba. Orders, apprehend before escape. Patel's insist necklace was secured in safe last night, stolen by morning. No forced entry, inside job. Amina's pulse spiked. They were framing her. And secured in safe. Elias Samira never put it back, there. Sealing your fate, Emeirla muttered, shutting off the radio. You need help. Who? The EARS of the Marquette. Emeirla smirked. At dawn, Amina wrapped in a headscarf, followed Emeirla through Ka Riaku Emeirket's chaos of fish, spice, and sweat. They stopped at a banana stall, where an old woman whispered to a schoolboy named Callow. My nephew, Emeirla said. He passes the Patel house daily. Callow grinned. What do you need, sister? Amina handed him a note. Did Raj take anything to the backyard last night? Burn anything? Callow pocketed the note and 500 shillings, then vanished into the crowd. An hour later, he rushed back, breathless. Sister! Last night, Raj sneaked out the back door with something shiny. Went to the metal drum in the corner. I hid behind a tree. He lit a fire. Burned something for minutes. Amina and Emeirla exchanged glances. What did he burn? Amina pressed. Couldn't see, but the flames had blue flashes like gems. Amina's mind reeled. Blue flashes. Raj burned the necklace. Why? A child couldn't crack a safe unless the necklace was never inside. Unless Raj was destroying evidence. Did he say anything? Callow shook his head. Asterisk, but when he left, he was crying, kept saying Papa will kill me. Back at the hostel, Amina flipped through the Swahili Proverbs book, her finger landing on a new line. Alapuam kono, alam sadium wenyu. When given a hand, he saved himself. She understood now. No one would save her. She had to act, and Raj, that frightened boy, wasn't the enemy. He was the key. She needed proof. The ashes might still hold it. Emeirla, she said, voice steady, take me to the Patel Bakia road. You mad? Police hunting you. Not inside. Just the wall. If the drum has ashes, maybe metal scraps left. Emeirla hesitated, then nodded. Tonight. I know a night. Gua road. Moonlight draped the Patel estate like a veil. Emeirla led Amina to the REAR wall, whispering with the Gua RD, who cracked the gate open. Amina crept to the metal drum in the corner. Ash and char filled it. She flicked on a small flashlight, sifting Ca refully, then froze. Her fingers brushed a half-melted metal clasp, its edges engraved with intricate swirls. The TRS of the C's fastener. Heart pounding, she wrapped it in cloth and stuffed it into her pocket. Footsteps crunched nearby. She and Amira bolted, scaling the wall just as Aguardi's flashlight beam swept the road safe in the shadows. Amina unrolled the cloth. Moonlight glinted off the engraved metal. Proof: Raj had burned the necklace and his parents had pinned the crime on her to hide their son's sin. Rage burned in her chest. She wasn't a thief. She was sacrificial bait, and that boy just another victim of his family's pride. She clenched the clasp, whispering another proverb: Eliakilanayama, Ndai Anashindamoto. The Patels weren't afraid of theft. They fear red scandal, their son defiling their treasure. That shame was worse than any crime. The storm had come. And with ashes in her hands, Amina could no longer stay silent. Dawn in the slum was thick with smoke and dust, curling over rusted tin roofs. Amina crouched by the hostel's water tap, scrubbing her only clean blue dress with rough soap. Her fingers were blackened from ashes, the half-melted necklace clasp hidden in her pocket like a burning coal against her skin. She knew a single scrap of metal wasn't enough to fight the Patels. The police wouldn't believe a fired maid. The media would twist it into failed theft. She needed more witnesses, a trail, a way to make Dar-es Salaam hear the truth. You can't cha rge in alone, Mama Amira said, handing her a steaming cup of chai spiced with ginger and cinnamon. In this city, the poor survive not by force, but by network. Network. Mwendo wa Mwenzio, the path of friends. Amira smiled. Every market vendor is an EAR. Every street kid is an I. We don't shout. We whisper truth. Amina followed Amira back to Ka Riaku Amirkat. Sunlight slanted over stalls of fish, spices, and engine oil. The call to prayer echoed from Amina Ret. Amira led her to an old woman selling bougainvillea and jasmine. Sadakam, Amira greeted, we need your flower code. Sadakam was the market's messenger. Her flowers spoke, red roses for lovers, white chrysanthemums for mourners. And a tiny purple bloom, Pambola aquilai, truth's ornament, given only to those who could be trusted. Who needs to hear? Sadakam whispered. Everyone near the Patel house, Amina said. Who saw Raj burn something last night? Where does he go? Who does he talk to? Sadakam nodded, pinning a dried purple flower to Amina's collar. This is the sign. Today, all who see it will listen for you. By afternoon, answers trickled. In a coconut seller's boy slipped her a note, I saw Raj sneak out last night. Blue fire in the drum, like stars falling. An imam sent word, Raj comes to listen to Quran recitals. Last week, he left a drawing of a drum with Swahili words, I want to be Dar's child. Most shocking, an Indian shopkeeper, Rajendra, sought Amira out, my daughter is Raj's classmate. He writes Swahili poetry books. His father calls him not Indian enough. Amina's chest tightened. Raj wasn't a thief. He was a boy trapped between worlds, his father's rigid traditions and the African rhythms calling to him. He burned the necklace, she realized, not for money. For freedom. That night, she cast Makan cowrie shells under moonlight, whispering, ancestors, guide me. What did Raj trade the necklace for? The shells landed, two face up, one down. Music. Her breath caught. A drum. Raj tried to trade the necklace for an African drum. At sunrise, we ring. The purple flower. Amina went to Drum Maker's Alley, where artisans vedno made drums. The eldest craftsman, Baku, squinted at her. Uncle, she bowed, did a boy trade jewels for a drum? Baku hesitated, then pulled out a crumpled receipt, last Friday. Indian boy, Tenya Rs offered a blue diamond necklace for my finest Ngoma. I refused, too dangerous. But I gave him an old drum for 500 shillings. Where's the necklace? He said, if my father finds it, he'll destroy it. So I must destroy it first. Amina's blood ran cold. Raj planned to burn it to erase the Indian chains it symbolized. The drum under his bed, Baku muttered. But today the Patels told police it was stolen. Now I see, they blamed you. That night, Amina pieced it together. Raj, suffocated by his heritage, longed for African culture. He tried to trade the necklace for a drum, his freedom denied, he burned it instead. His paw rents, to hide the shame, framed her. She gripped the melted clasp, whispering, Ukwalai and I Nuru. Truth is light. But how does light break through walls of power? Maid burst in. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., the Patels hold a press conference. They'll name you as the thief on live TV. Amina smiled. Maid, she said, find me a microphone. And my Swahili proverb book. The storm was coming. And this time, Amina wasn't just dust in its path, she was the voice in its eye. Tomorrow, she'd use their language, Swahili. Their wisdom, proverbs. To show Dar es Salaam how a woman buried in mud could rise, holding ashes and cowrie shells, to weave a net of truth. The morning air in Mitumba slum was thick with the smell of frying chapati and diesel fumes. Amina sat on the edge of her hostel bed, fingers tracing the worn cover of her Swahili proverbs book. Outside, life went on, market women haggling, kids kicking a ball, but today, her life would tip into the storm. At 10 a.m., the Patels would hold a press conference. Live TV. Social media. They'd brand her a thief to the whole city. And what did she have? A melted clasp. A drum maker's testimony. The eyes of the market. And a book of old wisdom. You're really going, Mama? Maid set down a bowl of porridge, voice tight with worry. They'll have police there. They'll arrest you on sight. Amina stirred the porridge. If I don't go, the truth stays buried. Raj. That boy didn't just burn a necklace. He burned his own Fiar. I won't let him carry that alone. Just then, hurried footsteps. Callow, the messenger boy, burst in, clutching a crumpled note. Sister. From the Patel maid. She says Raj is breaking. Amina unfolded it. Scrawled in Swahili. Raj cried all night. Says, I burned it, but Mama says blame someone else. He's terrified of his father. His drum, hidden under his bed, was taken by the butler last night. Now he's locked in his room. Won't eat. Won't speak. Her chest ached. They weren't just framing her, they were crushing their own son's voice. That drum, his symbol of freedom, was gone. Like her job. Like her dignity. They're molding him into another them, she whispered. Another proper Indian gentleman who hides truth for pride. Meanwhile, inside the Patel mansion, Samira Patel sat at her vanity, fingers twisting a PRLEA ring. Her husband, Naren, stood rigid by the window. No signs of forced entry, Naren growled. Cameras only show Amina touching the necklace, then nothing. Too convenient. She must have deleted footage. But Raj burning something, if someone saw, no one will believe a child over us. Naren's voice was steel. We're the Patels. Investors. Philanthropists. If word gets out our son destroyed heirlooms for a drum, we'll be laughingstocks. The whole Indian community will scorn us. Samira's TRS fell. Raj keeps sobbing, says he just wanted to be happy like the local kids. Happy? Naren scoffed. His happiness cost us $2 million. Rs humiliated us before the president's wife. No. The story is, the maid stole it. She was angry. End of discussion. Samira nodded weakly. She knew the rules. In their world, reputation was everything. If Raj's rebellion got out, his future, Maria's business, social standing, would crumble. Lawyers are ready, Naren said. At the press conference, we announce a 100,000 shilling Reva RD for Amina's capture. Media will paint her as bitter, slumborn, criminal, people will believe it. Samira shut her eyes, seeing Amina's TR-streaked face. But she redeemed herself. Yes, for the family. 9 a.m. Reporters SWA met the Patel gates, cameras rolling. Amina lurked behind a coconut cart, white hat hiding her face, the purple flowers still pinned to her collar. In her pocket, the melted clasp and a photo from Baku, the Gomadram Raj had dreamed of. What's your plan? Maid whispered. Use their rules to break their lies, Amina said. They shamed me as unclean. Today, I'll shame them with truth. Swahili is the language of the streets, the poor, the wise. Today, it's the language of justice. At 10 Shah Rp, the Patel stepped onto the balcony. An Aaron in a tailored suit, Samira behind the RK glasses. Friends, media, and Aaron began, voice heavy, our family has lived in Tanzania for decades, respecting local culture. Yet yesterday, we were betrayed by a maid we trusted and fired for misconduct. She stole our heirloom TRS of the sea necklace. Gasps. Cameras flashed. We have CCTV proof, Samira added, trembling. She handled the necklace before it vanished. We've alerted police and offer 100,000 shillings for her capture. Then Amina stepped four-way road. She flung off her hat, lifted the melted clasp high, and shouted in crisp Swahili, you say it was stolen, but it never went back in the safe. It was burned. In your backyard. Drum. Silence. Aaron's face purpled. Gua RDS. Arrest her. But before they could move, Mama Mairva and a wall of market women, fish sellers, flower vendors, mechanics, closed ranks around Amina. She kept shouting, I'm Amina Mwaka, Makand. You fired me for dirty hands. But today I ask, who's truly dirty, the one who touches things, or the ones who lie to save face? She raised the drum photo. This was Raj's dream. He didn't want to be an Indian ghost, he wanted to be DAR's child. He burned the necklace for freedom. And you've his parents forcing him to swallow your lies. Samira staggered, glasses slipping, revealing red-rimmed eyes. Then a window slammed open upstairs. Raj leaned out, TR Street, clutching his rescued drum. Mama Papa. His voice was small but clear. I'm sorry. I burned it, I don't want to lie anymore. Time froze. In Aaron ROA red, RAJ. Get inside. But Raj raised his drumstick, and bang, single, thunderous beat shook the air. Like the beat of the EARTH. Like freedom's cry. Amina looked up, TRS streaming. She whispered the final proverb, Mwenda wake and I'm wish awake. His path is his end. Raj had chosen his path. And so had she. The drum's boom shook the Patel mansion like thunder, not the timid tap of a 10-year-old, but the ROAR of DARES Salam's ZARTH itself. Cameras swung to the second-floor window where Raj Patel stood, drumstick in hand, TRSCA arving paths down his cheeks. His nomadram, CA ved with Makan symbols, wasn't just an instrument. It was his freedom. Mama Papa. His voice trembled but CA ride. I burned the necklace. I don't want to lie anymore. Samira Patel staggered back as if struck. Her husband in Aaron's face turned corpse pale, veins bulging at his temples. Raj! Get inside now, he bellowed, voice cracking with rage. But Raj didn't move. His eyes locked onto Amina below, the black maid they'd framed. She wasn't running. Wasn't crying. Just watching him with something his parents' eyes never held, understanding. She didn't steal it, Raj blurted. I burned it last night. Because I wanted to trade it for a drum. But Baku uncle refused. Said it was too dangerous. So I burned it myself. I thought if it was gone, Papa wouldn't force me to Leah RN Sanskrit, we are Sherwanis, hate Africa. The crowd erupted. Cameras flashed like lightning. Live feeds blew up, TYCN's son destroys heirloom for African identity. Family's cultural WAR goes public. This wasn't just theft. This was drama. And Aaron stormed inside. Seconds later, he read upstairs, yanking Raj's ARM inside. Let him go. Amina lunged, but Badigu ARDS blocked her. Then a figure burst from the side door. Giovanni, the elderly Swahili GA redener who'd served the Patels for 20 years, raised a shaking phone. On screen. Raj crouched by the drum last night, TRS of the sea in hand, flames reflecting in his eyes. Mama says this necklace is pure, his recorded voice whispered. But it's my chain, not if I burn it maybe I can be me. Silenced. I filmed it, Giovanni croaked. I stayed quiet. But not today. Don't we all deserve to be ourselves inside the master bedroom? Samira collapsed onto the rug, clutching the half-melted necklace clasp, the only piece Aaron had salvaged from the ashes. Raj's words on the balcony echoed in her skull. She remembered Raj at 3, dancing to street drums until Aaron yanked him away. That's jungle music. We're Patels. Raj at 6, drawing himself under a baobab tree, only for Aaron to tear it up. You're home ice Mumbai. Raj at 9, hiding Swahili poetry books, which she burned for polluting his mind. What have we done? She whispered. Aaron stormed in, SNA ruling, our reputation is ruined. The Indian community will shun us. Investors will pull out. That's our son. Samira. Screamed back. He just wants to belong. Belong to what? Slums drums were Patels. Our bloodline traces back to what a past he's never seen, a home he's never known. She stood, trembling. We locked him in a golden cage, and now he's burning his way out. Aaron turned to the window. Below, Amina, the lowly maid, stood like a queen, surrounded by Marquette women chanting in Swahili. His son clung to his drum like a shield. He realized then, they hadn't lost a necklace. They'd lost their son. Press aftermath. Amina sat exhausted in the hostel, lamp flickering. You won, Emeirla said. No, Amina murmured. A boy had to burn his past. A family shattered their own lives. Where's the win? She opened her Swahili proverbs book, adding a new line, Ukwalai Hovunja Mabavu. Raj's drumbeat had cracked the Patel's perfect facade. The video proved Amina's innocence. But deeper wounds remained, her firing, the slum's struggles, the rot of prejudice. Yet as she blew out the lamp, she smiled. The first crack had come. In cracks they grow. 3 days after the press conference, Dar es Salaam still buzzed with the aftermath. Behind the Patel's locked gates, a silent storm raged. Meanwhile, in a Matumba hostel, Amina sat on her bed, fingers tracing the frayed edges of her Swahili proverbs book, its ancient words now her sharpest weapon. Mama Emeirla burst in with news, the First Lady wants to see Raj Patel. At the National Cultural Center. And she asked for you. Amina froze. Me, why? She said, truth shouldn't only be told by the powerful. Emeirla grinned. And she heard how you used Swahili to expose lies. Called it, the wisdom of the streets. Amina's chest tightened. She'd never imagined her mother tongue could pierce walls of class and prejudice. The National Cultural Center, the white domed center, gleamed by the Indian Ocean. That morning, artists, Choles and media packed the SQUA. The Patels arrived, Aaron in a stiff suit, Samira behind DRK glasses, Raj clutching his nomadram like a shield. Amina wore her macan blue dress, a bougainvillea tucked in her hair. No bodyguard RDS. Just Emeirla beside her. Cameras flashed, the once dash thief now seated with elites. First Lady Mwy welcomed them. RMLY, Amina, thank you for coming. Today, we speak not of jewels, but of people. At the round table, the topic blazed, cultural identity and Africa's urban future. Aaron bristled, this is private family matter. Why didn't blink? When a child burns heirlooms to be himself, it's no longer private. It's the pain of every immigrant child in East Africa. Sholay RS spoke of Indian, Arab, European diasporas struggling to belong. Anaran listened, sweat beating, realizing for the first time Raj's pain wasn't unique. When Amina stood, silence fell. No notes. Just her battered proverb book on the table. She spoke in Swahili 3 days ago. I was fired for dirty hands touching a necklace. Today, I stand here not to clear a diamond's name, but a human's. Her gaze swept the Patels. You called my hands unclean, but true filth is a lying ERT. A mouth that frames the innocent. A cage called tradition. She opened the book, voice ringing, Alapuam Kono, Alam Sadium Wenyu. When given a hand, he saved himself. Raj burned that necklace not as crime, but survival. Torn between Indian and African, he just wanted to be Raj, and you, his parents, gave no hand, only pushed him deeper. Anaran's head bowed. Amina turned to Raj, softer now. Child, your drumbeat wasn't betrayal. It was a cry. You said you wanted to be Dar's child, and today, the city answers. She lifted the melted clasp. Look, fire twisted this metal, but it remains like truth. Unburned. Unbroken. The room held its breath. Then Anaran stood. Walked. To Amina. And bowed. Amina, his voice cracked, I apologize. My prejudice blinded me. My lies endangered you. I was wrong. Samira rose too, glasses off, TRS falling. We fear red difference so much, we forgot love means acceptance. Raj sprinted from his seat, crashing into Amina's arms. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have let them blame you. Amina hugged him tight. In that moment, no maid, no master. Just two souls. SCA read by bias, finally seen truth's light. The First Lady's decree as the meeting closed, Y announced, from today, Tanzania will draft a domestic workers' rights bill and launch cultural fusion scholarships for immigrant children to learn local languages and arts. She singled out Amina. With one old book, one proverb, she showed us real diamonds aren't in necklaces. They're in arts. Homecoming that night, Amina returned to Matumba, to a crowd outside her hostel. Market vendors. Mechanics. Flower seller. Sadicum. Drum maker Baku. Their handmade signs read, Amina, our voice. Swahili lives. Truth won't silence. Mayurla handed her a purple bouquet. Today, all Dar listen to you speak Swahili. Amina stood amid her people, whispering another proverb, Mkono moja hugwa, Mkono mawili huasha. One hand can't clap. It takes two. We are all that second hand, she said. When rich and poor, local and foreigner, parent and child listen. A distant drumbeat rolled through the night like an echo. Like a beginning. The streets of Dar still buzzed about Amina, the maid who'd put a Tycn on trial with Swahili proverbs. Her name, once Smea read as thief, now shown as truth's voice. The Patels, that untouchable Indian dynasty, had bowed publicly. But the storm hadn't ended, it had just shifted. From media frenzy to family reckoning. Inside the Patel mansion, Samira Patel sat at her vanity, clutching a photo, 3 years old. Raj in Mumbai, dressed in a tiny sherwani, gold crown gleaming. Her perfect son, Indian face, Indian manners, Indian future. Now that boy stood under Dar's son, hugging an African drum, writing Swahili poems, saying I want to be Tanzania's child. She traced the photo, TRS falling. Did we go to FAR? She asked Anaran as he entered. Anaran sank onto the bed, holding a cultural fusion scholarship form, Raj's name already penned by Samira. To FAR, he laughed bitterly. We were just SCA read. Of what, losing him? His voice dropped. We left India, built factories here, so our kids could have more. But if they stop being us, what was it all for? Samira shook her head. Raj isn't not us. He's becoming himself. We gave him wealth, education, but never choice. Aaron stayed silent, Amina's words haunting him. You didn't give him a hand, yet expected him to climb alone. Maybe he exhaled. We Leah RN to let go. Meanwhile, in Mitumba, Amina's life tilted too. The First Lady's endorsement rened her a grassroots Justice Awa Road nomination. NGOs reached out. Then Ashok Patel's butler delivered a letter. Aaron shaky Swahili, Clea RLY translated, Ready Amina no apology undoes our ha-rm. We offer 50 million shillings for your mother's wuke arving CP, your education. Not cha righty. Atonement. Aaron Patel. Amina handed it to M.A. Rla. Thoughts money fixes wounds, not roots, M.A. Rla mused. But if you use it start a school, teach girls, that's how stories begin. Amina smiled, recalling her mother's wisdom, Makan Ca would not for money, but to keep ancestors' voices alive. She wrote back, I accept with one condition, fund a women's skills hub in Mitumba. Teach maids literacy, accounting, their rights. Let Patel wealth truly lift this soil. Amina Mwaka. 1 week later the Patels came to Mitumba. Dressed plainly, they stood. Alque RDLY outside Amina's hostel. Neighbors gawked. Rich Indians here to arrest her, no apologize. Amina greeted them calmly. Samira stepped forward RD, butchering Swahili, Asante thank you. Ka Ribu, Amina said, ushering them inside. She unveiled her vision, 2 tin shacks, 1 classroom, 1 craft shop. Profits would pay teachers and transport. She'd even sketched a sign, Samama Kachaka, standing in the storm. Aaron studied the plans, then nodded. We'll fund it. 50 million, phased. Fully transparent. Samira added, our lawyers will draft contracts. Ensure no misuse. Amina thanked them. This wasn't just money, it was a bridge. Then Raj slipped in, drum strapped to his back. Amina he whispered. Can I Leah RN Swahili here? She crouched to his level. Yes. But promise, no more burning things. Raj grinned. I'll use drum beats instead of fire. Outside, sunlight bathed Mitumba's dirt paths. Local girls circled Raj, eyeing the rich boy. He tapped a hesitant rhythm. They paused, then clapped along, singing a Swahili nursery rhyme. Drums. Laughter. Song. Emayerva watched, murmuring to Amina, here that 2 hands, finally clapping. That night Amina opened her proverb book, adding a new line, Maji Yanayatarira Kahaina Kichwa, Lakini Yanawashamoto. Dripping water has no head, yet it lights fires. This wasn't the end. The Patel's apology wasn't closure, it was a seed. And Amina no longer dust in the storm's path. Now, the planter. The rainy season had come to Mitumba. Water drummed on tin roofs, carving muddy rivers through the dirt roads. Amina stood before the 2 newly rented shacks, watching workers hammer the first planks into place. Above the door, a hand-painted sign swayed in the wind, Samama Kichaka, standing in the storm. Red letters on white, like a tiny flag. The Patel's 50 million shillings had arrived, managed by a local foundation. To ensure every coin went to the project. Phase 1, a classroom for 20, 1 long table, 10 chairs, a black board, and doggy red Swahili textbooks scavenged from second-hand markets. Looks more like a market stall than a school, Emayerva chuckled. But it's ours, Amina said, running a hand over the rough walls. Here, maids don't bow. Don't fia are being unclean. Can ask loud, how do I solve this problem? Opening day brought only 3 students. A cleaner fired for spilling tea, black hands can't serve gentry. A cashier wanting to track her wages, so they can't cheat me. A 16-year-old with a sick mother, I don't want odd jobs forever. Amina didn't lecture. She asked, why are you here? The cleaner wept, I'm tired of being told you can't even hold a cup. I want to know what else these hands can do. The cashier clenched her fists, I want to read my payslip. Know if they're stealing. The girl whispered, I want to speak truth like Amina. Amina's eyes burned. She flipped the black board, writing her first lesson your name. Your rights. She taught them to write their names in Swahili. When Namwaka wobbled onto the first notebook, the room burst into applause. Meanwhile, at the Patels, Raj had become Samama Kichaka SSDA, our pupil. Every Wednesday and Saturday, he arrived by taxi, drum strapped to his back. At first, neighbors sneered, rich boy slumming for photos. But they saw no pretense, just a quiet kid scribbling notes on 8 clauses in labor contracts, calculating minimum wage versus overtime, even sketching Makan Ca Arvings clumsily with charcoal. Why Leah RN, this Amina once asked. Because, Raj mumbled, I want to know how much a maid like you shoot ARN for 10-hour days. So no one cheats you. Amina handed him a Swahili nursery rhymes book. Try this. Lighter than law books. Days later, Raj drummed a rhymes rhythm, making the girls laugh and clap. They nicknamed him Raj the Drum Boy. Aaron had protested, you'll catch diseases. Pick up bad habits. Samira countered, he's smiling, for the first time in Yars. She secretly attended class. Saw Raj chant Mtuni Watu, a person is people, with the girls. Saw him loan pencils, take meticulous notes. Saw him alive, her resistance crumbled. 1 month later. Samama Kichikano had 15 students. Amina added a crafts corner, teaching wallets from scrap fabric, Ca Arvings from coconut shells. Irva linked them to a fair trade shop downtown. Their first order, 20 fabric bags, 3,000 shillings each. When the girls got paid, some cried. First time running with skill, not just bowed heads, one said. Amina funneled profits into a Solida Righty fund, interest-free loans for emergencies. Rambi, she murmured. Pulling together. Africa's oldest strength. Then Raj brought a surprise. Unrolling colored pencil. Sketches, he beamed, a new logo for Samama Kichaka. A drum and an open book intertwined. On the drum skin, Ukwalayan Nuru, truth is light. Below, for all hands that dare speak truth. Amina pinned it up, the classroom's brightest spot. The storm returns one dawn, Amina found the door pried open. Black boy road defaced, stay in your slum, maid. Fabric bags shredded. Books torn. She read old employer's revenge until Ma uncovered the culprit, Patel's ex-driver Abdullah, fired for helping maids demand back pay. He called you ungrateful, Ma said. Said the Patels fed you 3 Yars, and you repaid them with scandal. Amina stayed silent. Change always rattled those clinging to scraps. Abdullah, though poor himself, had turned his Fiar into a weapon against his own. She didn't call police. Instead, she sent word, Abdullah, come to class. Free. Yell at me after if you want. 3 days later, he slunk into the back row, scowling. But when the lesson covered unlawful termination, his head dropped. After class, he rasped, sorry I was SCA red. SCA red of STA Arving. Amina handed him a fresh textbook, Fiar is why we're here. To only RN it. That night rain ceased. Moonlight silvered the Samama Kichake sign. Amina sat on the doorstep, opening her proverb book. She added a new line, Nchungu Hakula Kiso, Bali Hakapata. Abdullah's rage came from powerlessness. Samama Kichako will arm them all rich and poor, with the sharpest blades, knowledge, dignity, voice. Inside, a kerosene lamp still glowed. Raj and the girls painted their new logo on canvas, drumbeats soft as a heartbeat. Seeds of a new Dar-es Salaam, taking root in the Dar-k. The lamp and Samama Kichaka burned late into the night. Amina sat in the corner of the classroom, grading papers filled with shaky handwriting. Outside, Mitumba's night market buzzed, vendors hawking roasted corn, children laughing, babies wailing. Life, loud and messy. Her red pen moved across the pages, leaving notes, good. Better. Keep going. Simple words, but for many of her students, it was the first time a teacher had ever praised them. Raja's Swahili had improved fast. No longer just a quiet listener, he now asked questions. Amina, what's the difference between rights and duties? If an employer won't sign a contract, what do we do? Amina always answered patiently. She'd realized something: this boy, once scolded by his father for not being Indian enough, had an instinct for African culture. He could identify tribal drum patterns, recite Shaban Roberts' poetry, even write his own Swahili verses. One day, he handed her a scrap of paper. Guayenguanaya India moya wanguna wa Tanzania. Mimi semtoda wa kajini mimi yanai mwanampa dar. My clothes are from India, my heart is Tanzania's. I'm not a foreign child, I'm a son of Dar. Amina's eyes stung. She hugged him. Raj, you found your voice. The Patel's quiet revolution. Samira Patel had sta rude Leah running Swahili. Every morning, a tutor came to the mansion, drilling basic greetings. Aaron scoffed, why bother? Our staff speaks English. But then, Samira greeted old Johanna, the Ga Ordener, with a shikamo, babu. The old man froze. Then TRS mama 30 yrs, and you never. He bowed so deep his back cracked. Aaron, watching from the hallway, felt something shift. He reinstated Abdullah with back pay. Audited all domestic staff contracts. Even called Amina, we'd like to donate desks and a solar lamp to Samama Kichaka. Amina didn't jump. Is this guilt or change? Aaron paused. Change. I think. The exhibition. The dry season arrived, skies scrubbed clean of clouds. Samama Kichaka scraps were selling, fair trade shops even proposed an exhibition, a RT from the slums. Amina had an idea. Let's invite Samira Patel to open it. Imayula choked. The woman who ferreted you. Exactly, Amina said. Reconciliation shouldn't hide in shadows. It needs witnesses. She wrote the invitation in Swahili. Mama Samira Samama Kichaka invites you to unveil our first exhibition. Your presence will prove different worlds can meet. Amina. 3 days later, a reply, Nakuja. I'll come. The day of. Sunlight gilded the road bags embroidered with Makan symbols, carvings of clasped hands, quilt stitching Dar's skyline with the Indian Ocean, all fluttered like flags. At 10 a.m., a black sedan inched through Mitumba's alleys. Gasps as Samira Patel stepped out. No silk wrist today, just a simple kangaroo, hair loose, holding a bouquet of bougainvillea. Amina approached, hand outstretched. Samira inhaled, then, in halting but clear Swahili. Asante kwa kunijaza. 7 words. A stone dropped into still water. Amina clasped her hand. Ka ribu sana. The ribbon cutting began. The banner read, Maji Yanayatiririka, dripping water, the proverb about persistence. Samira lifted the scissors, hands trembling. Then, she turned to the crowd and delivered a speech she'd practiced. I once thought only clean hands were noble. Today, I see hands that scrub floors, wipe TRS, hold children. Now stitching beauty, carving hope, writing their own names. These hands are the truest clean. Thank you for teaching me. The crowd erupted. Amina wept. 3 years ago, she'd been kicked out for dirty hands. Now, the woman who'd fired her stood in her school, in her language, honoring her world. After a road, Samira bought a drum-stitched bag from a shy student, paying full price without haggling. Did you know? Amina murmured. The thread is from recycled ris. Samira blinked, then laughed. So? This bag holds a piece of me. Yes, Amina said. Like Raj's poem, Clothes. From India, he RT in Tanzania. We're all mixing. Samira watched Raj drumming with slum kids, his laughter bright. Softly, she recited a new proverb, Mkono moja hugwa, Mkono mawili huasha. She finally understood harmony wasn't erasing differences. It was letting every voice find its rhythm, and life's great song. Culture wasn't a straight river. It twisted, merged, right all streams to the same sea. The sun still blazed. The sea winds still tasted of salt. But Samama Kichaka was no longer 2 tin shacks, it was a proper community center now. Solar powered. Bright classrooms. A tiny library. A craft workshop. The new logo on the wall was Raj's design, an African drum fused with an open book. On the drum skin, Ukwalayanai Nuru, truth is light. Below, small letters, for all hands that speak truth. Today was the grand opening of Amina's vocational school for girls. Born from Samama Kachaka's mutual fund, backed by the First Lady's office, the school would train 50 women and girls in literacy, math, labor laws, crafts, and micro-business. The seed money, the Patel's original 50 million shillings, Amina had donated every coin. At dawn, Matumba gathered families, vendors, even government officials. Amina stood at the new podium. We ring her mother's Makan Woodsier Ved necklace, a bougainvillea pinned to her blue dress. No longer a maid scrubbing floors. Now a founder. A principal. A symbol. The Patel sat front row, Naren and Samira quiet, Raj among the students, drum and lap. His Swahili was fluent now, he even played in the school band. Amina took the mic. No notes. Just Swahili flowing. A year ago, I was fired for dirty hands touching a diamond necklace. TRS of the sea, they called it. Priceless. But today, I ask, what's the real diamond? She paused, scanning the crowd. A gem that buys mansions. No, the real diamond is, when the world calls you filthy, you still say I'm clean. When a child burns his past to be himself, parents rn to say I was wrong. Asterisk. When two worlds divide, someone builds a bridge, with words, with Asante. They said I tainted the necklace by touching it. But today, we read that diamond, misjudged, yet unbroken. She raised the melted clasp. Asterisk. Look, fire twisted it, but it survived like truth. Unburned. Ukwalai ni Nuru. Applause ROA read. After the ceremony, Amina gave the Patels a tour. In the library, we reprinted Swahili proverbs, 500 copies. Every student gets one. Each page, an ancestor's wisdom. In the workshop, students displayed crafts, fabric wallets, coconut stamps, Makan Indian fusion wall hangings. Samira picked one up. The threads were from her old essay Ris. Ushirikiano, Amina said. Cooperation. Difference making each other whole. Naren watched girls carving wood, stitching cloth. Ms. Amina, I finally see, our family's wealth was just numbers until you turned it into life. Dusk at Samama Kachaka alone in the old classroom, now a memorial. Amina studied the famous photo on the wall, her at the press conference, holding the melted clasp, Emerva and Marquette women shielding her. She opened the original Swahili Proverbs book, adding a final line Alapasama Kachaka, Hakachaguliwi Kangoja. Alimsadium wenyu kwamkona wake. Ukwalai Yolivyaka moto, Akamwapam winjan nuru. Nasasa, Kila mtuanawiza kwa almazi. When the storm came, he didn't wait to be chosen. He saved himself with his own hands. Truth crossed fire, he passed the light to others. Now, everyone can be a diamond. She shut the book. Outside, Raja's band rehiarsed drums, flutes, voices weaving like a river flowing into DAR's nightlights. Then she spotted it, a new exhibit on the wall. Not wood. Not fabric. A necklace. DARK Makan beads, each carved with tribal symbols, strung together with gold threads salvaged from Patel heirlooms. At the center, a clea or resin pendant encasing the melted diamond clasp, frozen like a teardrop in time. Emeira walked in, grinning. The girls made it. Called it Ushirikiano wa Dar's chain of unity. Amina touched it, wood wa rm, gold cl. She finally understood. The TRS of the sea had never truly vanished. Melted by fire, buried in ash, twisted by lies, it had reborn in human herts. No longer a rich man's trophy, but a slum girl's talisman. Proof that two worlds could heal. It didn't belong to one anymore. It belonged to all. She hung the necklace on the wall. Sunset pierced the resin, scattering rainbows like a real tear falling onto DAR's soil, becoming a sea of stars. The drums kept beating. Steady. Strong. The story ends. The light remains.